is Bold TV.
Hello, good morning, viewers. Good morning, ladies. Good morning, everybody out there. Welcome to another episode of Bold TV. Beautiful, outstanding ladies with disabilities, where we talk about issues related to disabilities or concerning persons with disability. But in this episode, or in our Bold TV, we specialize more on women, because I know the world out there is still confused how women with disability cope. So we're here to sensitize you, educate you, inform you on how our life is, what we do, how we are special, how uniquely we are, and how we support ourselves, and how we go as far as beyond disabilities. So that's why the Bold TV channel is here. This episode of this Bold TV channel comes to us every Saturday, 10:30 a.m. So we still solicit for your support on our subscription. And in case if you're out there, you want to contribute your own quota, you're a woman with disability and you want to share, we have the women in the house that anchor it on every Saturdays. At times we have a full house, at times we have just one or two, a few members due to our schedules, because it's a volunteer thing and something that we do to support as in something that we all love volunteering to do. So it's not tied to anybody. So if you're around your opportunity and you want to share, you can come up. And with the ladies in the house, we have that always there, whenever. We have Freki, we have Tomisi, we have Afyong, we have Constance, Grace, Biosi, and I. So all of us are there to answer your questions whenever you want to share and contribute, and also so that can support our subscription. We have our YouTube channel and our Facebook, where everyone out there can share, comment, and like, because we want this coverage to go as far as possible, because people are out there and learning. And for those that are just having disability newly, it's an opportunity for you to know more about it and know that disability is not a full stop but a comma. So you have to move on with your life and see the good things that comes with it. It's not as bad as you think. You can always survive it. So today I have my very co-host, and she's the one I'm going to show this. Not really a spotlight on her, but she's going to do it. And we have it in different formats. We have it in lifestyle, we have it in different topics. But today's one is on bold stories, those successful stories, those things that you don't believe. Because people see disability as a failure. So now I want to tell you that we have success side inside the story. And today I have Mrs. Grace Adebayo. I'll just throw just few intro about her and she will say more. So we have Mrs. Grace Adebayo, graduate of Mass Communication of Ondo State Polytechnic, from Ondo State, gospel music minister, founder of Heaven's Rock Ability Stand Foundation, disability rights advocate, a mother and a wife. So you can hear the story, it's very interesting. So if you think now it's not as bad as you think, we have a fulfilled life. We can live the way we want to live, as long as disability is there, but there's still something special and uniquely in you. So today is that story we want to share. So let me introduce myself so that I can focus on Grace. I'm Osaki Teresa Georgie. I reside in Port Harcourt, River State. I'm a freelancer. I have a polio with disability, as in I've lived for almost all through my life. I'm a polio warrior. And that's all I can say about myself now. So Grace, please introduce yourself and so that we can start the gossip line.
Okay, good morning, everybody. My name is Grace Oluwatosin Adebayo. I am a person with disability. I'm based in Ogun State. I am a gospel music minister, a disability rights advocate, and let me just say I am a mother, a wife, by God's grace. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much, Grace, for that beautiful intro of yourself. So I'll just go right into it without wasting our time. Now, Grace, so part of your story you're going to share to us, I have some few questions that are just direct, so just answer me so that we can all move. Were you born with disability, or at what stage in your life you come to get disability?
Okay, so I was not born a person with disability. I had disability a year after I was born, so I wasn't born with disability. It happened at the age of 2. No, at the age of 2. It happened at the age of 2.
Okay, that's okay. So your kind of disability, what kind of disability do you have? Is it polio or any of those?
It is polio.
Exactly.
Yes.
I can't remember you saying it.
In the early 90s, at that time there was so much information about it. So it happened, but thank God we survived it.
Okay, that's nice. So your parents weren't like shocked or devastated or trying to see what they can do, as in were they rejecting you, or they accepted it and whatever solutions they could get at that time?
Okay, so in this journey, I think one of the best gifts that God has given me in this journey of disability are my parents, my dad and my mom. My dad is late now. So as at when disability happened for me, my dad was a pastor. He was a missionary in Jigawa State, back in the north. So he lived in a village in Kazaure. That was where I was born. So he was a missionary. He was very strong in his faith in God, and my mom too. So to them, it was not really something shocking or devastating for them to see that, okay, we don't want this child again. Instead, I became his favorite child. That's my dad, and then my mom. And then they took this special interest in my life. Like my dad was so interested in my life. Like he was very, very interested in everything about my life. So my parents, there was no any form of rejection from my parents or my siblings. There was nothing like that. I was not treated as I was treated as like every other child in the home. I attended to everything like every other person in the family. So there was no difference between myself and other children in the house.
Wow, that's an interesting story. I must say, lucky you. I must say, really lucky you, because of some of us that had disability, even earlier than the year you called, it was not so easy. It was almost like isolation and isolated, and somehow we came to the limelight by God's grace through other means, not even from our own parents, but from other guidance or caregivers. Okay, that's a good story. I think that's a nice one. Okay, still on your topic, can you throw a highlight on how you got education from primary school, secondary school, and tertiary? How was it like? Was it a little bit, since you have parental support, so I think that part is crossed. But now getting into school, was it an inclusive school? How did you cope, and how was it? Unlock your mind.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay, so getting into school wasn't difficult for me. It wasn't difficult for me because my parents, especially my dad, was a lover of school. So even if your head is turned upside down, you go to school. So that was my dad. As far as you can think well, you can think straight. He's a lover of education, and my mom too. My mom loves education so much. So I was taken to school immediately after the polio, everything happened. I think at the age of 2, 3, I started school. My parents were so dedicated to it, and my siblings too. At the point that there was no working aid, so my siblings would carry me on their back to school in the morning. And then when school closes, they come back to pick me and still carry me on their back. And even their friends will want to be part of the experience. They'll be like, wait, let me carry her for you. I'll carry her for you. I'll carry her on her back. Don't worry, I'll carry her. And then they'll bring me home. And it was like that until I finished. It was like that for like 4 years before my dad was transferred from Jigawa to Kano State. So where I finished my primary school. So at the point, I was taken to the hospital and I got a working aid, and I was able to work on my own. And then my dad, I can say boldly that my dad actually bought a car there because of me, not because of anything, just because of me. So he was always taking me to school in the morning, comes back in the when school closes to pick me, and then for a while I was taking bike to school, going to school, coming back and all that. So going to school was not difficult for me. It wasn't difficult for me. I had no challenge going to school during my primary school. And then for my secondary school education, it was becoming easier. It was becoming better because I started to see myself as a person with disability, but I shouldn't let that weigh me down. So I started to get strength, and my parents were very encouraging, and my siblings too were very, very encouraging. So going to school was not difficult for me. My secondary school education too was like that, going and coming. My parents were very, very dedicated to it, except for the fact that when I was going for my tertiary education, my dad was in. I told you earlier that my dad was a pastor, so he was transferred to Calabar in Cross River State. That's when I was going for my tertiary education. So my dad was in Calabar. I was in Calabar. I got admission in Ondo State, and comparing the distance between Ondo State and Cross River State, very far. It So when I was going and I got the admission, no one thing I noticed in my house is that back then was that nobody asked is anybody going to follow Grace to school? How is she going to manage? There was no question like that. I was only taken to the park like every other child, and they told the driver where to drop me and who to call and all that. And I went to school all the way from Cross River State to Ondo State on my own, without any caregiver, without anybody following me or anything. And as at then, the condition of my legs were very, very critical. It was very bad. Like as at then, I was no longer using my walking aid. So I had to stop using walking aid because of the challenges I was having. Sometimes whenever I'm going to school, the walking aid I was using calipers, it would just break, or maybe I get injury from it and all that. So I had to stop using it for a while. So when I was going to school, my legs were in a very critical condition. But thank God, when I got to school, I got introduced to some people, and then to my fellowship back then in school, and they assisted me. They volunteered to help me, and they made sure that I was in a hostel where they had a fellowship member who was assisting with everything in the school, who was helping me and all that. And by God's grace, I made friends in school. The whole thing it was stressful though, but sincerely speaking, it was not that stressful. It wasn't really, really difficult because I had help. I had people to help me, and God was faithful throughout the journey. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you very much, Grace. I'm just your stories are so successful. Like it's unlike the usual person with disability that goes through. Your schooling was, I think, excellent. I think the main part that your parents were educated enough, or they were aware enough to know that disability is not as bad as you think, though it has its own risks and challenges, but it can be managed. Do you understand? So I think, and the kudos goes to your parents. I'm so proud, and I think I like the way they handle the situation, because you had the better platform to start life with. So everything will just move on smoothly. So right, the next question is, how is your social life like after university and coping with disability? How did you cope? How did you dive into the society? Because as for me, after university, I think I had a beautiful life primary school because I had a good foundation living with disability coming up. People that it wasn't my parents, but my caregivers, because I lived in a school or a home for children with disability. So I had good foundation, and they were not Nigerians to say they were missionaries, and they were more of white. So imagine that. So they had all the understanding, and we had the best kind of education to start with life. So that was excellent. Secondary school was somehow too okay. The boarding house was not too fine. At least primary school was far better. University I couldn't understand university. It was a different ball game for me. The population, the crowd, the accessibility, everything was strange. After year one, I could cope with. Some good people that didn't know that, okay, this child is a little bit unique, so let's see how we can either get through university. So that was that. But diving into the social world was not so easy because I couldn't just integrate immediately. I was still a little bit shy and trying to what's happening. But eventually, I associated myself into an movie. So how was your own social life like? How did you cope? How did you mingle with? How did you get your career, wherever? How did you go?
Social life was difficult for me. I was very, very, very sincere with you. Because even if I had parents who were encouraging, siblings who were encouraging, and few friends too who were encouraging, I still was not confident in myself. I still was not happy with my condition. I was still not, proud of myself as a person with disability. So even back then, after my secondary school education, I was always indoors. Like I wasn't going out. Even inside, like the flat where we're living, my dad would always come to knock my door because I would always be in my room doing nothing. It's either I'm thinking or I'm crying. Whenever I think of these things, like those days now, I'll be like, Grace, why you can't do like that now? Why that?
What did you? Without the exposure.
I'll be like, it doesn't have to love myself, but I'm just say, why did you do that? I would just punish myself unnecessarily because I'll be crying, I'll be thinking of my life, like, oh God, what is next? What's going to happen to me and all that? And so it was difficult for me, and that was my major fear when I was going for my tertiary education. That was my major fear. I was like, okay, who are the people who are going to accept my friends? Will I have friends? Will they accept me and all that? And luckily for me, when I got to school, like there was a particular lady who walked up to me during my first day in my lecture room, and her name is Morayo. She's still my friend. And she walked up to me and she started asking me some questions, and from there we became friends. And this lady left her hostel off campus. Like she was now staying with me in the hostel and we like she's always in the hostel with me. And this lady was one of the best students in my class, like one of the most influential person in my department then. And whenever I look at myself, I'll be like, Grace. So most times when people see her, they say, where is Grace? Whenever they see her, where is Grace? So they ask of Grace. I'll be like, so Grace is now important. So just like that, this Grace that you were thinking that nobody's going to ask of you will see your life now. So I became somebody that even my lecturers asked after me, like back in school. My classmates, when they don't see me in class, they'll come to my hostel, they will ask of me. People volunteer to bring me to the hostel, they volunteer to take me to my class and all that. So I miss my friends. Like let's say in the physical world now, it was kind of easy for me. But when it was now coming to this our social media world, a friend of mine told me, there was a time she was joking and she said, persons with disabilities on social media, they don't take full pictures, they only snap their head. You only see their head and you won't see their body. I can't forget that statement in my life. This thing is over like
full picture, full blown picture. Nobody sees not half.
I can still remember this thing very well. So that's been a challenge for me. I was like, wow, so I won't be able to show myself. But after a while, I was on Facebook for a while. People were sending me DMs, hey, fine girl, can you come? They start telling me things like that, fine girl, and all that. But when they come to my DM and I tell them that, hey, I'm a person with disability, before you won't see them again. My dear, I started having high blood pressure. I say, hey, God, do you see what I'm saying? This my fear was coming to reality. So I became really scared of me relating with people. Until I had the courage one day, and that was actually after my surgery, I had the courage to post my picture. That was the day I became superstar on Facebook.
Oh, that's nice. That was good.
So, because some people actually became even up to now, there are people that are still my very close friends. They came to my house, they became my friends. Like, I just want to be your friend. I just want to be your friend. I just love you the way you are. I don't mind. I don't do this. I don't do that. I was like, really? So, at first it was difficult, but with time, I started to relate with people. And now, I'm at a point where I'm not scared of what people say. That disability, I don't have time. Like, I don't have time. For you to start making me look like disability is one horror thing like that. It's not possible. I know how far God has brought me. So disability is not something strange. You cannot scare me with disability and say because I live with disability, I can't do this. So I talk to people, even if on the street when I'm walking and people are staring at me. If you don't greet me, I would want to say hello with a smile. I say you be like, this person with disability is a monster. Look at my smile, it is beautiful. I be now. So, it was difficult actually, but by God's grace, I have been able to overcome my fear of relating with people. I go to anywhere now. I'm not scared of going out. If you call me now and say, let's go to, I'll follow you. I'm not scared. Let's go to anywhere we have 1 million people. I'm not scared. But before, I used to be scared though. But now, no, I don't do that again. God has helped me.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think I'm really inspired and I'm thrilled concerning how you cope with your social life after university. It's true. Like people see you, tomorrow they will always there and they forget to greet. And I remind them, good morning, good afternoon. Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon. I say, yes. That's what you should have done. You'd have just created the greeting and create one gist. Then you can look at me well than staring at me. Create one thing. I like your show. You can take your time, look at everything else. It's because it's small. It's not like your own, all those stuff. Then they're looking at me like, wait. All right, that's nice. Okay, as a important, I learned you are a gospel artist, music minister, and that's something that I think I really, really enjoy. I know most of us are into the gospel music, and that's an encouraging and inspiring area of our life, because spirituality is good. And if you have a disability, I think it's good you have a spiritual guidance, because that's what will help you to propel your success, to give you that, like, I'm a winner, God loves me, I don't care what I am, whatever it is, God has a purpose, I have a mission to fulfill. So tell us more about your gospel music line, how it started, what was your inspiration, who mentored you, and all the rest. Very brief, because you're almost running out of time.
Okay, so like you mentioned now, that as a person with disability, we should also be very intentional about our spiritual life. First of all, I'm grateful for the fact that my name is Grace. Whenever I look back and I consider the fact that my name is Grace, I'm very happy, because that's like a major strength from God to me. So talking about music has been a major source of strength for me. A major source of strength for me. me. So I actually I started singing from when I was a teenager. Yes, then during my secondary school, then my tertiary institution days, and all that. So for now, actually, I can tell you that by God's grace, I have an album, and I have some of my songs on Boomplay, on Audio Mac. Yes, and I'm also praying that very soon I'm going to be able to produce another one, because the last one I produced was in 2014 and 2019. So since then, I have not been able to do another one, but I'm praying that this year is going to be a favorable one for me. And then for mentorship, let me just tell you the truth. God is my mentor in this music thing. I have some music ministers I look up to, like Shola Lindsay. Yes, she's a major source of inspiration for me, and some other people. But sincerely speaking, God is the one that is helping me in this small. I don't know much music, but it remains my own major source of strength. Thank you very much.
I'm so happy. I hope, and I think, let me later. I'll find out if you could send us any of your album, if you can play it in the background to see, let someone hear your music. Okay, this is the cocoa, but very brief. Your married life. I heard from your name. I said Mrs. Grace. Okay, so please tell us that love story. You know, some people just feel that this one not gonna marry a beg. That man will just gonna sleep with her go. You know those kind of sad kind of. Not only that, we also get married. They put ring in our hands. They put proposals, and they kneel down for us too. You know that kind of pattern. Exactly. And we say yes. And we walk on the aisle, to the altar and all the rest. And we come for our own wedding. So just tell us brief on how was the love story that led to, relationship, then married, and then also learned you are a mother. Motherhood and disability, that's a special topic of its own. But you can just give us one or two how you move in all of that. I know God was your strength.
Okay. Let me just say the little I can say about this one. Actually, when on this situation, this topic of marriage as a person with disability, at first it was kind of challenging for me because I had my fears. I was a bit scared. I was worried. And then at some point, I met my fears. That is, me say I chop breakfast. You understand?
You chop breakfast anyway. Okay.
And after that breakfast, my heart got like
sweet. Oh.
So I became hardened. Like I was like, no, there's no love anywhere. Who can never love me with this my condition and love me perfectly? But the Bible says that the thoughts of God are not our thoughts. His ways are not our ways. You understand? So I said I found love in the most unexpected way. So let me just say, from this my music thing now, I went to a church.
Oh.
Hello, can I go and come back?
Okay, come back. Let's see. Just fast, snappy.
Yes, or can you hear me now? I can't really.
Just talk. Just wrap up. I'm hearing you.
Okay, so I met my husband when I went for administration in the church, and then from there, the love story became a reality. It was difficult for him because I made it difficult for him. I made it very difficult for him because I didn't believe that I loved you. I was like, how can you love me with this condition and all that? But God helped him throughout 7 years of waiting, and then finally we got married. And now again, I became a mother. And the journey of motherhood it's like a gift. It keeps you keep unwrapping it. You see different sides of it, different fashion and different parts. Today you see a different person, tomorrow you see a different person, and like that. So for me, it has not been easy. I must confess. So you see this my fine face you are saying, thank God for it. But sincerely speaking, when I'm back, when I'm off this place I am now, you see me now. Because it can be very stressful, but God has been faithful. I'm beginning to learn new ways of doing my things with my child, new ways of talking to her, or relating with her as a mother with disability. And thank God for the help of my friends and family, my mom especially, and my sister, blessing, everybody around me. They have been really helpful. So thank God for the journey so far. Thank you.
Wow, that's awesome. Serious awesome. Your stories is really bold heart stories. As in, these are bold stories. People don't really know about it. So the last question I want to say, what advice will you give to a woman with disability when it comes to life generally? What do you have to tell her? Mute your mic. Unmute your mic.
Okay, so my advice is that, first of all, please know God and follow God. Your strength is from God. The Bible says that my strength is made sufficient for you. My grace is made sufficient for you. For my strength is made perfect in your weakness. It is only God that can help you to overcome your weakness. Then, as a woman with disability, please be confident. Don't allow anybody to take advantage of you. There are so many people out there whose mission is to take advantage of us as a woman with disability. I have experienced it. Like, I saw people who came and all they wanted to do was to take advantage of me. But God saved me. Like, He saved me out of them, out of their hands. So please, it might not come as and when you want it. But be hopeful. Don't just lose hope like it is not going to happen. It can happen. And when it's going to happen, your story is going to be headline. Like, it's going to go viral. It's going to be everywhere. Your story is going to be like the trending news. So don't be scared. Just keep on following as God is leading you and be hopeful. Have faith in God. Have faith in yourself. And love yourself, my dear. Love yourself. You have to start loving yourself first before anybody can love you. Don't wait for somebody to love you before you love yourself. Treat yourself well and present yourself very well. Look beautiful. Disability does not stop you from looking beautiful. Please. So this is my advice to you. Thank you very much. God bless you.
All right, thank you very much, Grace. I'm so thrilled with your stories. It's so inspiring and thrilling. It's encouraging. I'll tell the lady out there with disability that she's a gift. That she's a gift to humanity, a gift to the world, a gift to her family, a gift to herself. So she's not all of that. That she's a gift, meaning that she needs this gift to be unfolded. So she has to do all it takes for the gift to be used, should be shown. There's no point hiding it or making yourself isolated or being not so strong. But you have that confidence, like what Grace said, that we are a gift to humanity. So I want to tell our viewers and everybody who've closed for today's episode, we are grateful and we say thank you. Stay tuned. Next week, Saturday, same time, we'll have another interesting and special topic which you will stay there to learn. We'll also inform you, educate you, and tell you more things concerning disability. So I'd like Grace to meet Amak and say bye-bye. She's bold hearts. All right, Grace.
Bye.
All right.
See you again.
Thank you very much for showing up. Thank you.
This is Bold TV.